Hello, my name is Michael Lambert and I want to welcome you to the first annual award for the smuggest politician of the year. This year my committee and I have been working extremely hard. We've had to go through hundreds of applications or recommendations for these awards, and we have managed to finally narrow everything down to just 5 winners, 5 worthy winners. I think you'll agree they're all outstandingly smug people, and so I will shortly announce those. Before I do so, could I just say, if you enjoy this video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I'd be very grateful as well. So as I say, we've worked tirelessly to come to this this final list of 5, which I'm about to announce to you. There will also, before I announce the final winner, there will be a special award for the smuggest person in the world, I think, the smuggest Englishman in the world anyway. And that is someone who undoubtedly deserves a mention, and this seems a very good opportunity to give him an award. So to begin with, we've narrowed it down to 5 winners. In 5th place, we have Kwasi Kwarteng. Now, Kwasi is a very clever man, extremely clever. He got a scholarship to Eton and then he got a double first at Cambridge, which was remarkably clever. And he then went off and became a journalist. He's written some books. He wrote a book about End of Empire, and he wrote another book about traffic congestion, I think, and one or two other things. But anyway, he has never had any business experience in his entire life. He's never had any involvement in business. But because of that, of course, he's the perfect candidate at a time when our economy is falling to pieces, where businesses, we've heard only in the last couple of days, thousands of small companies are about to go bust or are going bust. At a time when we're in a huge economic crisis, he has been made business secretary. He is our business secretary. And he's got this award because he always seems to give the impression that he's rather irritated that anybody should question anything he does at all. He has a certain special arrogance about him, and that's really what pulled him over the line when it came to giving these awards. There were lots of others we had who were borderline, but in the end we decided that Kwasi won it. In 4th place, we have somebody who, again, we had to talk about quite a lot. It was quite difficult because we had to take into account the fact this person is mad, and she is just somebody who is so filled with bitterness and anger and hatred that at the same time she's Mrs. Smirky, the Home Secretary. At the same time, she's just so smug. If you only look at any of her parliamentary performances, she's thoroughly arrogant and self-satisfied, extremely pleased with herself. God knows why. I mean, she's probably the worst Home Secretary we've ever had. Absolutely disastrous, hopeless, fixated with stopping people coming across the channel in little boats. Absolutely fixated on stopping immigrants coming to this country in the way that her parents did, as did Kwasi Kwarteng's parents. And he also, of course, is a great follower, a great proponent of Brexit. So anyway, that was our number 4th choice. Now, in 3rd place is the Prime Minister. Now, he is somebody who his smugness is self-satisfaction. He is so pleased with himself, and he has this this belief that he's just the only person who could run the country. He seems to feel that he has always felt that he will go down in history as the second Winston Churchill, whereas I think it's very likely he'll go down as the second Benny Hill. We would have put him higher on the list, except that he does have this way of showing faux contrition. He has this way of saying, I get it. I understand that people are angry and all this sort of stuff, and people kind of fall for that. So it makes him look less smug. But he is really smug and self-satisfied, extremely self-satisfied. So he's He's in at number 3. Number 2, and then we get into the big ones. Number 2 is somebody who is not any longer a politician. He's no longer in the government at any rate. He is a man who, again, we had to think a long time about where to put him on this list. He would have been quite low down if it wasn't for the stupidity factor, and that shot him right up the list. Because he's as much smug as self-deluded, completely and utterly in another world of self-delusion. And I'm talking, of course, about our former Brexit negotiator, Lord Gormless. Lord Gormless, if you remember, he negotiated the withdrawal agreement and the Northern Ireland Protocol, and came back to London all with his silly smile, stood behind Johnson whilst he signed the agreement. And for that, he was given an award. He's put in the House of Lords, Lord Gormless. And shortly after that, he decided the shouty party in Northern Ireland, the DUP, started saying they didn't like it and started grumbling. And therefore, he suddenly decided the agreement he'd negotiated and signed and that Johnson had signed, it wasn't very good at all, and he wanted to change it. And so what he does now, this poor, deluded, sad little man, he writes articles for the Daily Mail and the Daily Express, and he writes a lot on Twitter, giving his opinion of how well the government are doing and what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Complete and utter self-delusion. And it's really rather sad, actually. But there it is. He's awfully pleased with himself, and that's why he got in at number 2. So before I announce the final winner, I want to talk about this special award. We've given a special award for international smugness. This is somebody who has tirelessly spread smugness, self-satisfaction, condescension, and general general pleasure with himself, and so on, throughout the world on behalf of this country. And he really has done an amazing job. I mean, he is world class, world beating, quite possibly one of the smuggest people who's ever lived. He's got to that stage where he's almost at the point of exploding with self-satisfaction. And the person I'm talking about is the overpriced Hoover manufacturer, James Dyson. He, as I say, is an absolute master of smugness. And this is going to be an annual award, and it seems unlikely anybody's going to knock him off that top spot as international smuggest man of the world. And so we get to our winner. Now, it was not difficult to decide the winner, but nonetheless, I better open the envelope and tell you who it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, with great pleasure, it gives me to announce that the winner of the 2022 Smuggest British Politician of the Year goes to Jacob Rees-Mogg, Esquire. Now, Jacob won this very, very, very easily. Jacob is a man who is so pleased with himself, it's almost impossible to imagine. He's somebody who, from the moment he gets up in the morning and puts on his undertaker's outfit and goes out amongst the lowly, the ordinary people, that's everybody else. He's in a state of just supreme self-satisfaction. A man who just is superior. He's a politician who, I mean, he's been to Oxford, fantastic education, but he's gormless. You know, if you asked him to knock in a nail, he wouldn't have a clue. He'd get a tradesman to do that. And likewise in government, I mean, he's never had a proper job in government because he's clueless, and so he gets these little jobs. He's a bit like the pupil in the class who the teacher kind of feels sorry for, and says, Jacob, you've been a good boy. Would you like to tidy up the stationery cupboard? And he runs along. Oh yes, please. And that's what he's done. For example, before he was the leader of the House. And that's like being office manager. You just sort of arrange a timetable. Now he's given a special job, especially voted for little Jacob, and it's called Minister for Finding Benefits of Brexit. 6 years after we voted to leave. He's looking for benefits. I think so far, I think he's found that it might be a good idea to bring back pounds and ounces and a very old system, imperial measurements, which is very complicated and is non-metric and therefore quite complicated to use, and which nobody knows anything about. But we'd all have to. It's a bit like bringing back Latin. Why don't we bring back Latin as a language instead of English for government, that sort of thing. And anyway, Jacob yesterday, he was down at Folkestone at the Eurotunnel centre there with his little bit of high-vis jacket on, and he was saying how we're going to delay bringing in import controls, indefinitely, in fact, for the foreseeable future. Now, import controls were supposed to be introduced when we left the EU, beginning of 2020. But we weren't ready, you see, because we'd only had a few years to get ready. The EU were all completely ready, so they imposed import controls from day one. But we weren't ready, so we said, well, we'll leave it 6 months and we'll see if we can think up some way of doing it. 6 months passed by and we still weren't ready, so we delayed it another 6 months, and 6 months passed, we still weren't ready. And so we delayed it another few months. It was supposed to be up to July this year, so it was the third delay. And then Jacob's gone down to Folkestone and found out that it's not going to be possible because we're not really ready, and so we're delaying it for indefinitely. What this means is that whereas as from the beginning of 2020, every single item of goods that's gone into the EU has had to be checked or has required paperwork and so on, goods coming into the country from Europe need no checking whatsoever. So if you want to bring some goods into the UK, all you have to do is get the goods on a lorry, drive to Calais, cross to Dover, drive off and take them wherever you want to go. So if you want to bring some guns, you want to bring some drugs, you want to bring some illegal immigrants or asylum seekers or whatever you want to call them, anything you want to bring, no controls whatsoever. And of course all the taxes that we should collect on stuff coming, don't worry about that, no, we're not ready. So that's Jacob's contribution. He wants to delay it indefinitely, and I think I did read some. He did describe that as a benefit of Brexit. I'm not sure he's found any other benefits, but no doubt, even if he did describe it as a benefit, he would have done so with a great deal of smugness and self-satisfaction. Being so superior. He is, after all, the person who told us ad nauseum that if we voted for Brexit, it would lead to cheaper food, clothing and footwear. He told us over and over and over again. And, well, he doesn't talk about it a lot these days because, the cheaper food, clothing and footwear hasn't really happened yet, has it? So anyway, with that, I'm going to end these awards now, and I thank you very much for watching. There will be another set of awards coming up in a few weeks' time. They're called the Git Awards. That's the Gormless, Incompetent, Timewasters, and that will feature various other government ministers, such as Tories and what she called the cage fighter, Therese Coffey and Oliver Dowden and people like that. I think even Liz Truss might have a go for one of those awards. So that will be coming up in a few weeks' time. So please watch this space. And thank you for watching. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I would be very grateful. And so until next time, thank you. Bye bye.